Hello everyone, it's your girl Regina Sunshine coming to you live from what is always a beautiful day for me here in Douglasville, Georgia with the Regina Sunshine Show, here where we bring you my version of midday motivation, helping you get a Regina Sunshine state of mind. And I'm so excited about today's show. It's interesting how things transform from what you plan or what you think to what is, but I have an amazing guest live in studio. We've been trying to get her here for a while. I can't wait for you to meet her in a little bit. Miss Sally Marie Tompkins is here, and she is ready to meet you guys in a little bit. But I do want to give you guys, I guess, our regular updates, calendar updates, announcements, and just let you know what's going on. You know, I got all the award shows. I don't even feel like going through all of them today. I'm in a different kind of mood today, y'all, just so you know. But you can go to reginasunshine.com and you can see all of the events coming up, from the Boss and Young Boss Awards on June the 10th to the Awesome Girl Awards and Awesome Girl Book Launch on August the 24th, partnering with the Andrew and Walter Young YMCA to do that, to the Regina Sunshine Curvy and Confident Empowerment Week, leading up to the third annual award and fashion show that November the 16th. So it's going to be an interesting week of comedy, spoken word, network your curves, all kinds of great stuff that week. But you can go to reginasunshine.com to get all of that information. Today's lineup, we have Regina Sunshine Show at 12 noon. Then at 5 o'clock, we have Sunflowers in Motion live, line dancing with Miss Barbara Baylor. And she got a special guest, Lil Jimmy. A lot of people have seen him from all over YouTube and everywhere else. Is going to be live in studio with some kids. I think they bring some kids with him, Michelle. It's going to be an interesting, it's always interesting when we have kids in the building because they see all this open space and they just want to run around. So Miss Barbara Baylor. And then, of course, at 9 o'clock, we have The Curve, women's roundtable talk show from a curvy woman's perspective. So I'm so excited about today's shows and everything else that's going on. Like I said, I'm not even going to read all this because normally I have this whole list of things. I got some other things on my heart that I want to say before I bring my guest up. And then she and I are going to have a great conversation. But if you're looking to do your own show or teach a class or a workshop or just do something innovative and interesting and new that's never been done before, you can reach me at reginasunshinerobinson@gmail.com. Let's talk about getting you on the air. I was throwing out some ideas on the Women of Douglasville page yesterday. If you want to teach a yoga class, or maybe you want to teach a cooking class, or just anything that, we have the space for, that you can have a live studio audience, you can have a class, or you can just want to broadcast it live on the air. We have the space here. Let's do something different. Let's do some things that not everybody else is doing, and kind of shake things up. We've got some things in the works behind the scenes that I'm excited about that I still can't say anything about right now. But I'm looking for new family members. That's what we are here at Regina Sunshine Global Network. I'm looking for new family members to join the team so that you can ride this wave with us of amazing things that are happening. So get at me. I know that's not something I normally say, get at me. But yeah, it kind of came out like that. Contact me at reginasunshinerobinson@gmail.com. Let's get you on the air. Or maybe you don't want to be on air. I know some of y'all have a challenge with that, but you want to teach a class. We have the space for that. Let's get you over here and get that done. All right. What I want to talk about before I go to my first break, I always spend the last couple of minutes before the first break talking about what I'm thankful for. I don't often talk on air or on social media about the things that happen in my family. I'm very private in that regard. I told people I've gotten really good at telling people enough that they think I'm telling them a lot, but I'm really not telling them anything. So that's the reality. People feel like they know a lot about me from social media, but they really don't. But this past week, we actually had 2 members of our family that passed away. So we've been on the road all week long. It's been quite a challenging and tiring week. But the blessing in all of that is always being able to see your family and spend time with them. And it was so funny. We were leaving my uncle's house, headed, I think, to funeral home. I can't remember. I was with my son, Gabriel, and we were actually taking a family cruise this year like we do every year. And Gabriel, who, if you know my son, is very thrifty. I won't call him cheap. He's thrifty. He saves and saves and saves. And if Gabriel tells you he don't have any money, that just means in his mind he don't have any money he wants to spend. That's what that means. But he didn't go on the last family cruise with us because he's saving money. And so he had decided he wasn't going this year. And when we were leaving my uncle's house, he looked at me and he said, "Mom," he said, "tell Pam to send me the information for the cruise because I'm going." He says, "We have to be reminded that we don't need to wait to spend time with family when we have to. We need to spend time with family when it's for good reasons." And so he immediately reached out to my sister and got his booking information. And that's something I hope that all of us recognize, that we don't always have that tomorrow we think we're going to, right? We're putting off time with our family. We're putting off time with our kids. We're putting off doing things to later, hoping, that we will have that time. And you may not, for whatever reason. Times change, things change. I look at my father, who had a stroke in 2012, who is still in a rehab facility, who was a very active outdoorsman, hunting, fishing, all that stuff, and is now in a position where he can't do those things that he loved to do every day. And he used to always say, "I'm going to enjoy my life now." That's one of the things that we didn't always understand. If he wanted to go out and buy us a couple of 4-wheelers, he just went out and bought them. And my mama would be stressed out because she's thinking, "We got to pay the bills." And his thing was, "I'm going to enjoy my life now." And so I'm very thankful that I was reminded that do things now with the people you love, because you might not always have them with you. So I want to say I'm thankful to my Father in heaven for giving me the family that I have that loves me and supports me and that I love spending time with. And we're not one of those families that people make comments about on Facebook about how they can't, they don't want to go home for the holidays. We can't wait to get home. We can't wait to get together, because when we're together, we stay in the house for days in pajamas without any lashes. If people stop by, they're always looking at us like, "That's not what y'all look like on Facebook," because we're not putting on for anybody. If you stop by my mama's house, you're going to get us raw and real. So we got our heads tied up, but we're just so happy to be together. We're in no rush to leave the house and go anywhere else. So I'm thankful for my family. And I've got some new things developing in my life. And this word is for those people out there who are thinking that you're too old to find love. Yeah, I'm going to say it, Michelle. They think you're too old to find love. I'm 46 years old, been through a lot in terms of relationships and everything in my life. And I really was at a spot in 2018 where I had decided, well, you know what? Maybe love is just not for me again. It won't happen again. And I think I'm walking out a love story you write songs about right now. And I'm thankful for that. And that's all I'm going to say. We're going to take a quick break. You'll be right back with Regina Sunshine Show here at Regina Sunshine Global Network. All right, you guys, you are back live on the air at Regina Sunshine here on the Regina Sunshine Show at Regina Sunshine Global Network. And I'm so excited to have my first guest, first, probably only guest on the show today. You know, to those people who have taken my talk show hosting class, we've talked about this before. You overbook your show, so you at least have a guest when the show starts, right? All right, it's one of those days. But I'm so excited to have Sally Marie Tompkins here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
You know, I always like to mention how I met someone. And I met Sally years ago in Greenwood, South Carolina. Greenwood, not Greenville. Because a lot of people are like, oh, I know where Greenville is. And I'm like, 45 minutes from there down Highway 25
yes, ma'am.
Is where you'll find Greenwood in the middle of nowhere.
Yes, ma'am.
So, so it's so good to have you here. Do this for our audience. Tell our audience a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Well, my name is Sally Marie Tompkins. I'm from the little small town of Plum Branch, South Carolina. I was raised by Reverend R.C. Holloway and Dorotha Holloway, extreme great educators, math and English. I'm the daughter of a Broadway star, Della Mae Tompkins, and I am a spoken word poet, currently residing in Atlanta, Georgia, and I am also a filmmaker and actress. Wow.
Well, first of all, you say Plum Branch. that's country.
Country. That's
Plum Branch.
Plum Branch.
Most people have never heard that. Now, most people, when you say McCormick, that'll take it. When you go further and say Plum Branch, you're really in the country.
Yes,
so, Places I had never heard of till I lived in Greenwood.
Exactly.
But good people there. Good, some of the
Exactly.
best people in the world.
Yes.
You mentioned, which I'm just, because I've got your bio here, hadn't had a chance to read over it in detail, but that you were raised by educators.
Yes,
Tell
ma'am.
us about the experience of being raised by educators.
Well, right off the bat, they don't play that.
No,
When
I'm
you're
sure.
when you're raised by educators, they're very serious. And actually, Dad is a pastor as well. So I grew up in
Oh,
the first family
so you
home.
got like
Plus,
that double.
yes,
Okay.
yes. Very structured, very serious, and very loving and caring. I appreciate them to this day. I love them.
That's good. That's
Love them.
good. And so you mentioned that you're the daughter of a Broadway star.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And my mom, she passed when I was a baby, but she did make it during a time where we weren't welcome.
Yes.
And she auditioned for a play in New York, and she actually got to dance in a couple of plays. So that gene passed down to me, all the writing and the dancing. So I want to live on in her legacy and make things happen.
That's awesome. Now you mentioned that you were a part of a first family, a pastor's family.
Yes, ma'am.
How accepting was the first family of the creative side of you?
Now, it's a little different. A little different. They're receptive, but not at first. Because I would write all the time.
Yes.
I would write all the time, and she'd be like, come on, time to go. Put the pen down, So it was kind of a little tug of war sometimes. But as I got older, they began to see the gift God placed on me and in me to be a poet.
Yes.
And that began to change a lot, too, and make things extra better. Extra better.
Extra bit. I like that.
Yeah, extra
Well,
better.
I asked that question because there are certain things, especially in our community, that are accepted. Right.
Correct.
Athletes, athletics, singing, okay,
Exactly,
that's a
exactly.
good one. Being strong academically. Those are certain
Right.
things that are celebrated.
Yes,
But when
ma'am.
you start thinking about the other art forms,
Yes, ma'am.
it's not always something that people are as accepting and supportive of. And that's why I asked that, because I think that's a space that we do need to continue to work on, is accepting the many gifts
Many gifts. Correct.
that our children have, and
Exactly.
not just this pigeonhole, especially in Greenwood,
Yes, ma'am.
because it's football there.
Football.
Yeah.
Eagles.
Yes.
Wildcats.
Yes. So I was. That's why I asked that question. I was interested to see if your journey was any different than some creative minds have had. So what was, I guess, the turning point? You said they began to see the gift that God had put in you. Is there something you can mark as a moment where they were like, oh, we see you now?
Edith Childs.
Edith
From
Childs,
Greenwood, South Carolina.
who
I love
everybody
you, Miss
knows,
Edith.
who's everybody knows from Barack
The
Obama's
song.
campaign.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. That was the turning point when she would invite me to do MLK marches. Invite me to also Mars Chapel Baptist Church in Greenwood,
Yes.
South Carolina, to do the heart program. She would do a heart program every year. And they began to see then the change and the power of the gift God has in me to be a poet. So that was a turning point when Sister Edith Childs would invite me up to church, or to do a spoken word piece, or even the marches with Dream Builders
Yes.
of Greenwood.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
I appreciate those guys as well. So that's when they really realized, wait a minute. Okay, and they started asking about it. When you gonna do something else, and where you going next, and so
That's what's up.
yeah.
Well, sometimes God does send people
Yes,
to
ma'am.
those very specific moments in your life to assist you in that way,
Right.
to elevate you in a way that maybe the people around you can't see you being elevated.
Correct.
And that's one of the things my pastor speaks on when we do our affirmations
Mm-hmm.
every Sunday. He talks about how God is sending people who he
yes.
can open those doors,
Yes,
and who
ma'am.
can speak our names and have
Right.
people go, oh,
Right.
right?
Yes,
And so it's a
ma'am.
blessing.
It is.
When those things happen. So as you begin to fully walk in this purpose, this gifting, has it been easy?
No, it has not been easy. When God gives you a vision, of course it's bigger than you are. Some people they ain't going to roll with you, walk with you. They disappear, and God will remove them. That's for someone out there.
That is for somebody.
God will remove people that would distract the vision.
Yes.
So that was one of the hardest parts in the beginning. But I had to realize when you're a trailblazer, everybody can't carry the weight that God has on you.
That is so real. That, you know, I'm seeing it a lot with not just myself right now, but people around me, that as, you know, we're in this season where, as first of all, God is shifting a lot. A lot of stuff being shaken loose.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, and so people are falling away and everything.
Right.
And especially if you're a lover of people, you want to hold on to folks. I'm gonna take you with me. No. And God, like, let them people go.
Yes, ma'am.
You slowing things down because you trying to MC Hammer them and bring them all with you, right? And that's a challenge,
yes,
especially whenever there are people that you thought this one gonna be with me for this one here, I could count on. And then you see them fall away, and you're like, well, what is really going on? But then we have to recognize that, like you said, in order for us to move into those spaces that God has for us, that some people have to fall away because they're not ready to walk in the spaces that God has designed you to walk in. And they may go in there and tear some stuff up.
That's exactly
Do you understand?
That's exactly why he moves them away. Correct.
Absolutely. So, I mentioned before that's been a challenge for me, the whole letting people go.
Yes, ma'am.
How has that been for you? Is that, you know, because it's not always easy to see people you care about and love, kind of, unless you're more gangster than me.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. It's a process.
Yes.
And when you realize that you can attain certain credentials of blessing, then you'll let them go. Once you realize, God's saying, well, I can't give you this, or I can't put you with this person because this individual is not thinking like you are, or this individual will go in and tear your relationships up that you have with people. So he has to remove every distraction, because they will. Now, if you sit in the table with Oprah, that person definitely can't roll with you.
Yeah, because they might be in there acting a fool.
See?
See? I'm glad you put it like that.
Yeah, when you sit with Oprah, then, you know, it would mess up the whole plan of God. It would be a major distraction. So that's why he pulls people away. And when we get there, we understand why he moved them. Wait a minute now.
You know, Oprah name keep coming up in conversations in our circle. Somebody last night was, we thank you. We waiting for you. 4040 Chapel Hill Road, Oprah Winfrey.
Thanks, Oprah.
We're waiting for you to show up here. Sweet tea. Studio tea on the door, just so you know. But it's so real. I had a friend of mine, actually, he's one of the guys I call one of my 5 brothers. God didn't give me brothers by blood, but he sent me 5 by love that love me tremendously. Perry Farmer said this to me. He said, sometimes you got to go and get the key and come back and set other people free.
Wow.
When he said something, he said you got to go alone and go ahead. He said, because you keep thinking, well, if I'm leaving them. He said, sometimes you have to leave for a period of time so you can come back. And when he said that to me, I was like, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And like you said, when you made that example, I will hold that forever. If I'm sitting at the table with Oprah, some of these folk I was thinking about, worried about, they will be at the table acting a monkey. So I'm glad.
And it will distract the blessing.
Thank you, Sally. That was for me. That was definitely for me. So since you, like you said, grew up in Plum Branch, you had a chance to do some traveling with your spoken word. Tell us about some of the things that you've been able to do using your gift.
One of the accomplishments is doing a spoken word piece for the mayor of Greenwood. That was early 2000s when I was there, but that was an honor and a privilege. Again, Sister Edith Childs with the American Heart Association, who I've done so much. Let's see, I've done weddings, I've done Christmas parties, birthday parties. Recently, last year, I went on a Bright Star tour. It's with Bright Star Agency, where the owner is Lynn Moman. And we went to Miami, Memphis, and Los Angeles. It was just a breathtaking experience for me. So those... And I'm the only poet on the tour. So that was monumentous in my life.
So what other kinds of acts were on the tour?
There were rappers, there were, singers.
Okay, I got you.
Singers,
And so then you come with a spoken word. That's what's up.
And that really changed my life, too, to tour and to to be around, get this because I'm a songwriter as well. So that helped fine tune me and sharpen me, not just in poetry, but just to get the whole tour experience to live out my mom's dream. Hear me? To live out my mother's
I
dream,
felt that.
she didn't get to see. She saw part of it, but to just walk that in her footsteps, not only for her, but for myself, but the trailblaze behind her.
That's beautiful. That's
Yes,
beautiful.
ma'am. It was very, very breathtaking for me.
Well, you also mentioned at the beginning that you're an actress. I did hear you say
Yeah,
actress.
yes, ma'am.
So tell us about your acting.
Well, I do believe that was a part of my mom as well, being on Broadway, of course. I moved here in 16, and I'm going to tell you, I moved here on faith. So if God's telling you to move here, this is the home of the new American dream. However, there are other places, New York, L.A., there'll always be New York and L.A. It'll always be there, but God is doing something unique in Atlanta. So if He telling you to move here, you better follow the process and the plan to get down here. So I moved here, and God just began to open doors. They were acting. I've done some background work on The Walking Dead,
Okay.
some movies for Netflix, Come Sunday, Stepsisters, been in plays, The Best Christmas Pageant Ever with Oak Theater. Recently, this weekend, this Saturday actually, Sticky Situations is a movie by a female director Nichelle Taylor.
Okay.
So she'll be debuting her movie that I actually got a spoken word part in.
That's
It's
what's
called
up.
Daffodils, and she gave me a role, so I thank God for her. So she gave me a chance.
Yes.
So sisters give each other a chance out there. And she just, God bless me to have a part written in the movie. She actually wrote.
For
Yes,
you.
she
What's
wrote
up.
me into, yeah, so.
So I see that sticky situations. Do
Right.
you have the premiere information, where it's going to be, time, or any of that, or can they
I'll
just
shoot
go
it
to
to
your
you.
page?
I'll shoot it to you.
All right, all right. So we can share that
Okay.
when we get it. Okay. So what are some of your dreams for the future?
So much, so much. Okay, one dream I have is to develop my foundation ATAP. It stands for All Things Are Possible. And up under that umbrella, I have an academy for poets and for children to be disciplined in finances in school and at home. Just teach them life skills
Yes.
that they don't get
Yes.
before they get out on their own, so nothing will surprise them.
Yes.
I really wanna help develop that, and then do basketball camps because I'm an athlete as well.
Well, so you didn't mention anything about bowling, about hooping.
Yeah, it's cool,
Little
little
something.
something. I still got it. If the dream want to talk to me, but I do want to help with the homeless. Build a shelter in the future. Um, and I'm currently working on spoken word albums. So one is called Soul Renovation. It'll be completed by the fall, and I'll make sure you get your copy.
That sounds
It's gonna
good.
be on Spotify and Apple. So
That's
I'm
good.
working on that.
Well, we can't have you on the show as a spoken word artist and not have you do something. Do you have a piece that you would like to do for us? Anything you want to do?
Yes, something dropped in my heart before I left the house.
All right. Well, yeah, it's yours.
Okay. To everyone out there, there's a process in our life to get to our dreams, and also we have to forgive people. A lot of us are in a state of unforgiveness, and that blocks our blessings. And also, the bitterness is time for it to cease. So the name of this is called reconciliation. So there are some families, or there's some parents to children, or children to parents. It's time for us to make peace. Seriously. Tomorrow is not promised, like Miss Regina said. So I hope you like it. This is called reconciliation. It's time to get back to the way of the church so new visions can be birthed. But first, what about when Jesus wept? Of course. There should be no more tongues of bitterness or unforgiveness. There should be waves of love and care and concern. There should be a multitude of surrender to the kingdom of God. Have you been there lately? What's missing in your life? Is it reconciliation? Time to forgive your mom and forgive your dad. Because, believe it or not, their life won't last. For when eternity calls, there's a lot to think. But be careful, don't wait until you have to see a shrink. The time is nigh. Yes, indeed, Jesus is coming back. But you have to be the one, everyone, to pick up your own slack. Reconciliation. Let's get it together, y'all. Thank you. Peace.
Much needed. That was a word, because I think there are so many people, again, that think they have forever,
Yes,
you know, and then they get a phone call, and the person they thought they had forever to have a conversation with, they can no longer have a conversation with on this side
yes, yes,
of
ma'am.
things. So I hope whoever that was for,
Been through it.
whoever this conversation has been for, is
Yeah.
listening, and you take the time to go ahead and do what you need to do.
Yes, ma'am.
Do this. Tell our audience where they can find you.
Okay.
What's your, I guess, social media and everything, in case they want to connect with you.
Okay. Again, my name is Sally Marie Tompkins, a.k.a. Chosen Poetess. You can find me at Sally Tompkins at Outlook.com. That's SALLIE, capital T, lowercase OMPKINS at Outlook.com. My social media is Marie's Harvest, MARIESHARVEST for IG, and Facebook is Sally Marie Tompkins, SALLIE, middle MARIE, last TOMPKINS. That's Facebook. Inbox me for engagements. Feel free, or email me. Bless you all. Thank you.
Well, the last thing I want to talk about before you go, because I know you've got to go. Before the show, we were talking about living in a small town and being in those spaces where people are close-minded or have negative mindsets about things that are beyond that town. So I want to give you an opportunity to just say a word of encouragement, maybe to someone who's listening, and maybe they're in a space where nobody from where they're from has ever done anything, or people around them are saying, why don't you just sit down somewhere? Because, you know, you hear that when you're doing too much. Why don't you just sit down somewhere? Why don't you just enjoy life? Be like everybody else. Just get you a job and go sit down. And
I heard that one.
yes. What would be your word of encouragement for this person that's trying to break free of those chains?
What I would say is, like God had showed me in Genesis 12. He asked Abraham, he told him, go to a place where I show you. He didn't tell him to stay. So this is for someone. And God has been tugging and tugging at you, and you still there. Do not make it where God has to push you out of where he's telling you to leave. So, and I've been through that, you know, and I want to say, follow your dreams and don't give up on hope, even with all the voices around you telling you the opposite of what you know you want to do and what you know you should be doing. You have to step out on your own with God and pursue your own dreams, your own visions, because everybody can't go with you. You know, your life is a journey, but everybody comes in seasons and for a reason, or even a lifetime. But I highly recommend you step out on faith, and you'll be glad when you get there. You'll see when you get there. You can't see if you're still there.
I thank you for sharing that. Somebody needed that, because we know.
Exactly. We know. We do know, you know, in family, I'm going to say this, you know, we can love our family, but God has given them the vision. He's given it to you. So if you want to be a filmmaker, you want to be a singer, you just have to step out. You have to audition. You have to do different things. If you want a cooking show, hey, get on the road to those different festivals. Go, you know. And you all be blessed to step out on faith. Whatever your dreams are, pursue. And God will always be with you and meet you there.
Awesome. Well, I thank you so much for being here. And we look forward to having you back in the future whenever you, like you say, when you complete your albums and you come on and we'll promote those. Sound good?
You sound wonderful.
Awesome. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back here on the Regina Sunshine Show at Regina Sunshine Global Network.
Thanks, everybody.
guys? You're back live with Regina Sunshine here on the Regina Sunshine Show. And normally on this portion of the show, you're not used to seeing me by myself. I had a total of 4 guests that were booked for today. And we were down to 1, but it was an amazing interview with Miss Sally Marie Tompkins. Make sure you follow her and support her efforts. But one of the things I've always done whenever I had maybe fewer guests than I expected, or there was some change in my show, I would always have a folder of things that I would like to share with my guests if I ever had the chance to just talk to them. Kind of stuff I would probably include in my upcoming podcast. Did you hear? Yeah, podcast. I hadn't decided on a name yet, but I'm going to be doing a podcast where I talk about some real personal stuff and maybe help some people with some things. But one of the things I always like to talk about is some of my favorite books. And one of my favorite books I just gave to someone that I love dearly, and I just want to talk about that real quick before we end the show. If you've never read the book, The 5 Love Languages, by Gary Chapman, it's a book you need to get, especially if you're talking about, if you're in a situation where you're working with people or you just want to better your own personal relationship. This book is life-changing. It was one of those books that when I read it, it was like a light bulb went off for me in terms of past relationships I had and understanding why a person maybe didn't show me the affection or love the way I thought that I should have gotten it. And I began to understand that not everyone loves the same way. And so when you get the book, The 5 Love Languages, it goes over the 5 love languages, what they are, and then there's a test as well for you to figure out what your love language is. And the reason this is so helpful is because if someone's showing you love in a way that is not your love language, you might not recognize it because you don't speak that language. So it's like if I'm having a conversation with someone, I'm speaking Italian and they're speaking Japanese, and neither one of us understands the other language, then we don't get our point across, or we don't get heard by the other person. So it helps if you know your love language, number one, but also the love languages of those that you're in intimate or close relationships with, so that you recognize when they're attempting to show you love. Perfect example, when I was in college, I had a young man I was dating there who was not very, he's not a giving gifts type of person. That's one of my love languages, okay? So he wasn't into cards and flowers and gifts and all that stuff. And because I was, when holidays would come by, like Valentine's Day, and all the other girls were getting flowers and this and that, and I wasn't getting those things, I felt like I wasn't loved, or that he didn't care about me enough to do those things for me. But I remember when the transmission went out of my car and I needed $500 for a transmission, I didn't even ask him for it. He went and bought a transmission cash and paid for someone to put it in my car. And after reading the book, The 5 Love Languages, I began to recognize that his love language was acts of service. He takes care of things. He takes care of you. And I began to look back and see how when I was expecting flowers and gifts and cards and all this other stuff, he was taking care of situations in my life because that's how he showed love. And if you recognize that, if you recognize that, then you don't push people away, or you don't become bitter or upset with people because you're not receiving love in the way you think you should. You begin to recognize, oh, they're showing me love, but just in their language. So I encourage you, if you've never read the book, to get it. It will help you so much in not only understanding the other person, but yourself. And then you can kind of teach each other. It's a book that's really great for couples to do together, because then you can discuss your love languages so you can help each other in that regard. And so now I'm the kind of person, I start sizing people up real quick with their love language. Like I know, okay, this is what I need to do because this is what this one needs, as opposed to trying to always do it my way. But definitely 5 love languages, Gary Chapman. I'm not even gonna go over the love languages. I will tell you mine in case you want to show me some love. Words of affirmation, for sure. But my words of affirmation kind of goes along with giving gifts. I like cards and notes and stuff like that. I'm not necessarily big on you buy me big gifts, but I like to receive little things that are meaningful. I guess that makes sense. And physical touch. I like you to hold my hand and sit close to me. If our thighs can touch, You know what I'm saying, Michelle? And that's what I'm saying. It's not all about necessarily being intimate, but just having that person's physical presence near me means a lot to me. So, you know, I'm not. That's the physical touch is not for all of y'all, but the other stuff, the words of affirmation, is. So that's it. That's today's show. I know it's short and a little bit different, but I hope it was meaningful to you. It was meaningful to me. Shout out to Michelle. English here, producing for us here at Regina Sunshine Show. Again, tune in today at 5 o'clock for Miss Barbara's show, Sunflowers in Motion live line dance show, and then at 9 o'clock with The Curve. And stay tuned. We got some new shows getting ready to start up that we're really excited about. All right. I got my affirmation somewhere, Michelle. I almost forgot about them. I leave you with the words I always leave you with. Remember this: God loves you just the way you are. You are beautiful because you were created in love. You were fearfully and wonderfully made. You have the seeds of greatness within you. You were born to live a victorious life. You are brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. You are worthy of the best things in life. All right, you guys, we're going to get out of here. It's a beautiful day out there. Go out there and win big. And remember, I always say it's not over till I win. If I hadn't won yet, that just means it's not over. So I'm telling you today, it's not over till you win. If you hadn't won yet, baby, that just means it's not over. Be blessed and keep winning.